is in large part the reason that I'm standing out here tonight. I don't want to get too personal about anything, but that's a fact. And the moment I knew about that little 4-year-old girl and her existence, I'd always, I'd had the so-called perfect record that I just referred to. But I don't mind telling you that that is a totally different dimension when you see that first sonogram. And that's all I'll say about that. Yes, sir. Do I promise no campaign commercials during the Super Bowl? I'm going to promise free tickets to everybody to the Super Bowl. Yes, sir. Education issue. What do I think about No Child Left Behind? In the first place, what we're seeing with regard to our children apparently lagging behind these international studies and so forth is very troublesome. Education is not only an issue that's near and dear to the heart of every parent, always has been, because they love their kids, but it's now a matter of national security. It's now a matter of international competitiveness. We can't do the things we need to do with millions of competitors on the other side of the world, in China and India and so forth, and other places that are less well known, getting apparently better education than some of our kids in some crucial areas. We throw off the phrase, it's a global world and global competitiveness and so forth, but it really is true. We got to do a lot better. I don't think more federal money and more federal bureaucracy is the answer to that. If federal funding was directly related to improvement in education, all of our kids would be Rhodes Scholars today. Over the last several decades, it has increased immeasurably. The bureaucracy that goes along with it, the requirements put on the states has increased dramatically. The percentage of people that they have to devote at the state level to handle the federal bureaucratic requirements far exceeds the amount of money that they get. So we got to think in a broader way about that. No Child Left Behind, I voted for it. I have very mixed feelings about the results of it. I think the idea of testing, the idea of objective, transparent ways to find out how your kids are doing is a great one. I think that is something that, although I'm careful about what the federal government involves itself in terms of traditional state roles, I thought in view of the circumstances it was worth it. What has happened now is that states in many cases have provided tests that they apparently feel like that their kids can more easily pass, and the standards are not what they should be. So you get more and more people objectively doing better, but in real terms, you can't really tell how they're doing because they don't want to lose, the states don't want to lose their federal money. So it's not working out the way that it should. I think we'd do a better job if we would give more in the nature of grants or block grants or lump sums of money to the state. Take away all the bureaucracy. This bill created scads of new federal agencies and rules and regulations for the state to follow. Very expensive. Do away with that, and then say to the states, there are private standards out there. I'm not talking about nationalizing the standard, but there are private standards out there, and you can pick one. But let them come in and test these kids, and we will help you do that in terms of block grants from the federal government. But you do that, and we'll see how the kids do. And if they don't do so well, you've got state and local officials, and you've got parents to answer to, not the federal government. So I think that general approach is a more sound. Yes, sir. Well, we talked a lot about that at our home because Jerry's aunt, who was with us this morning from Omaha, she takes care of veterans. I was out at Walter Reed not too long ago and talked to them about the nature of their problems out there. It is a complex mess in many respects. I can't tell you that I have the solution here. All that I have is a commitment and a determination that we do for these people what they have done for us. When I tell you that how impressed I am with the people that I see, and I listen to them and talk to them and talk to their families, and how vital it is that these young people continue to do what they're doing, I hope that gives you some idea of my commitment to make sure that we have trained professionals in this area that will cut through the bureaucracy and do a better job. And I've got another one that has occurred to me as I've thought about this problem, and that is it's in our national security interest to do this. What are people going to think when we need young people to go and defend our country and fight our country's battles for us the way we always have and always will? If they're thinking, well, am I going to do this because I understand if I get hurt, I'm not going to be taken care of? Or if I understand that when I get old, and I get hurt, I'm not going to be taken care of. We have got to convince these young people and their families, based on reality, that we'll do the right thing by them when we come back. Yes, sir. Beg your pardon? How long you got? Let me talk about that in a little bit in general, because that's a fair question. What departments would you consider disbanded? I'm not going to give you a list tonight, but I'll tell you what I'm thinking about. I'm talking about underlying principles. In 2001, I was chairman of the Governmental Affairs Committee, and I looked into the waste, fraud, abuse, and mismanagement of our federal departments and federal agencies, the entire federal government. It was very bad under those circumstances, and it's getting worse today. I found out we had computers and weren't talking to each other. The FBI and the IRS spent millions and millions of dollars unsuccessfully trying to get resolved something that private businesses had already resolved a long time ago. Departments can't pass an audit. The government can't pass an audit. We're wasting billions of dollars in the Pentagon. I'm not suggesting we abolish the Pentagon. I'm just suggesting that there be some accountability with regard to who's supposed to be running these things. That's what management is all about, is accountability. Because now, like in the Pentagon, it's one example, but our intelligence community is another example. It's affecting our national security. And now they claim that, they don't have the ability to carry out basic governmental functions like protecting our border from illegal immigration. It needs a top-to-bottom review through the Office of Management and Budget. People think about the OMB, they think about budget. We got to also start thinking once again about management. There's got to be some sound management in there and some accountability under rules that make a lot more sense. We got an antiquated civil service system we created back in 1956. Doesn't apply anymore. It's tough to hire the kind of people that we need in this highly technological age to solve these problems through the civil service system we've got. And it's almost impossible. You're more in danger of getting struck by lightning than if you're an incompetent employee and somebody's trying to fire you. So that's the nature of the problem. And as we go along, I can probably come up with a list for you. Okay, but I'm sorry. Hey, listen, thank you very, very much. I'm sorry that... this is the little lady I was telling you about. Say hello. Okay.